Welcome to Cosmic Angels, the podcast where we're bringing a voice to the healers and creatives of our collective. Today on our podcast, we're going to be meeting with someone who is very dear to my heart. We were divinely guided and aligned to come together recently, and even in the first place on how we met, because I think it was a funny and strange order of events that led to it, but we both ended up being in the same place at the right time. And we connected, and I felt called to reach out to her to be the first guest on my podcast. I felt like it was very fitting. She has a beautiful and strong Aries energy in nature, and she brings such a beautiful light and force. And as we're closing out this end of the zodiac year and the true year, as I like to believe, and we are beginning the true new year as we welcome in the spring equinox soon, I thought what better energy and person to have on here to help us usher in these new beginnings than EarthAngelEmmy, or EarthAngelEmmy, as you can find her on all of her social media platforms. So thank you, Emily, for being here with us today. And yeah, let's get into it. Hi guys, it's Jace here, otherwise known as my handle Cosmic Angel 777. How are you guys? Oh my god, it's so weird to get back into podcasting after such a long time, but I'm glad to be starting fresh on a new note. So welcome to Cosmic Angels. I really just wanted this to be a podcast where I get to bring on creative healers, so people who integrate their creativity, their creative expression, and their authenticity and authentic self into the world, and just bring unconditional love through it, through being themselves, expressing themselves, or with the intention to be a light worker, a healer, or some sort of earth angel or spiritual guide in some sort of way. So if this is your first time tuning in, hi, my name's Jace. I'm 24 and I'm from New York. I'm a Libra, and I'm also a spiritual guide and mentor and psychic medium, amongst many other creative things. And today, for my first guest, I have the beautiful and incredible, amazing Emily, otherwise known as EarthAngelEmmy.
Hi! Hi! I'm so happy to be here.
Would you like to, state anything about yourself? Introduce yourself? Let us hear it. Let the girls know.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily, otherwise known as EarthAngelEmmy on all social media platforms. But yeah, I am a fashion stylist. I'm a dancer. I've been described as having inner child wisdom and joy, and just bringing that into spaces as a healer, as a light worker. I've committed to my spiritual path probably for over I would say over 6 years now.
Wow.
I'd say that was my first, introduction of, I always kind of felt like I was super powerful, but the tools started flowing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I definitely incorporate that into my work. I'm also a yogi. I love exercising. I love doing it all. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about everything today.
I'm excited to hear about it. You have such a beautiful light energy, and I feel like just your aura in itself brings so much healing into this world, and you're just like a natural walking light worker. So I'm glad to bring you on here and we can talk, and I have some questions if you'd like to get into them. I had some questions to direct our conversation, but of course let anything flow that you feel called to.
Yes.
So first I wanted to ask you, what was your introduction to spirituality? Was it something that was always in your life? Did something particular awaken it, or was it kind of a mix of both?
Oh my god, the way that I started to talk about it, look, and I did not
divinely in tune. But we got real good into alignment before this. We've been having some great divinely aligned conversations and just straight channeling today. So it's been beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love how, like, connected we are.
Yes.
To spirit and to, like, our gifts with each other. It's so crazy.
Yeah, it's a good vibe. But, okay, so to answer question number 1. So yeah, I always kind of felt like, I remember being, like, a little kid, and I grew up, like, my family was Catholic. I don't know about much anymore, but they used to practice Catholicism, and, like, I was put into, like, Catholic school for 3 years, things like that. But, like, when I was there, I didn't really, like, understand what was going on. Like, I didn't feel like I didn't feel connected, and I didn't feel like I should be praising this God, you know, not to offend anyone, you know, religion is for everyone, however you connect to it, but, like, I just personally didn't feel like I had a connection, and I was starting to feel guilty about it.
Yeah,
but
and I do feel like Catholicism is very guilt oriented and, like, shame based.
Yeah, so, and a tool to, you know, that was used against our ancestors, but that's a different story.
No, we could talk about it, because I feel like part of bringing light and, like, truth and love into the world is, like, being honest and authentic about everything, even, like, the icky stuff, right? How I was saying earlier, like, you gotta feel the icky feelings to feel the good ones too, and they can both exist simultaneously, and they don't have to, like, one does not have to take away from the other.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like Catholicism and Christianity were used as, like, a device and a tool to, like, sacrifice the divinity of our ancestors and, like, their lives, their lived.
Exactly.
Like, we were just, not we, but, like, they were just put through so many things.
Yeah.
And we, even now today, we are asked to sacrifice so much of ourselves to follow, like, I feel like an outdated system that I feel like is not actually connected to, like, the divinity that it was actually introduced to humanity to do.
Exactly.
It was meant to connect us to our spirit and to the divine and something greater beyond us, and it was turned into something more, like, egotistical and a tool for harm. So I can completely understand how you were so tuned into that and connected to that from a young age.
Yeah,
if you just knew.
I did 3 years at a Catholic school, 1st grade to 3rd grade, and during that time, like, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I felt bad about it.
You're just, like, going with the motions?
Yeah, but then, like, I remember one day in my room, this is, like, a really, really vivid childhood memory. Like, I was, like, looking at the wall, or, like, I kind of went into, like, a little trance, and, like, I remember thinking, like, you are God.
Yes.
Like, I literally, and then I felt bad about it. Like, right after I thought that way.
Even now, I feel like I still have to work through shame around that, but it's like, we are all, like, gods. You know how we say, like, we are the universe experiencing itself? Like, literally, I feel like there's, like, different depictions of, like, God, of, like, that higher power.
Yeah.
I feel like there's, like, a higher God that, like, lives in the sky. He's, like, the creator. And then I feel like there's the universe, which is kind of, like, the energetic embodiment of that. And then I feel like there's, like, the physical embodiment of God, which is Mother Earth. And they all have to be, like, in balance. Like, they all are, like, very strong and significant parts of, like, that energy. And so we, even in our spirit, like, we reflect all of that. Like, we have a body that's of the earth, we have a mind that's, like, of the, you know, like, of the sky, and then we have our soul, our energy, and that is, like, that's more connected to the universe. And I really believed from
being a kid, like, that you create your own, like, destiny. And, like, I feel like I was gifted that knowing, because, like, my ancestors didn't have that, like, knowing, you know, like, that was beaten out of them. That wasn't even like a thought that was, like, they were allowed to have. So I felt really lucky from a young age. I feel like I had this sort of, like, wisdom that I wasn't really, like, seeing from my peers or, like, seeing from my elders at the time. So, anyways, I went on to, like, not really be religious after I, left 3rd grade. And I went to public school, and I was like
full 180.
Yeah, I was like, now that I'm free.
I
I was like, now that I'm free, you know, I just continued to like get more like downloads as I, you know, grew older. And fast forward, I really started to like get more into astrology. I really started like to like just gain more wisdom like through spirit herself. And like also I'm Puerto Rican, Italian, and Cuban, so like my family was always like, I'm really family oriented. Like my family's really close to me, so naturally like I just had a really close connection with my ancestors. So yeah, I've been always super family oriented, so I always just had a connection with my ancestors. And then like as I grew older and kept asking questions, my abuela and my titi from my dad's side, they started telling me more about my Taino ancestors and just telling me just, you know, how to get more in tune, and we're kind of like giving me clarity on the feelings I was feeling.
Was your family like really superstitious growing up? Like did they have a lot of like random like superstitions or beliefs that like as you got older you realized are kind of more like spirit oriented? Like
yeah, I mean my dad's side is more spiritual than they are religious.
Is that
so
your Italian side?
No. He's Cuban and Puerto Rican. And my mom is Italian and Puerto Rican, so
ooh.
I'm basically full Puerto Rican, but
I was gonna say I didn't realize you had Puerto Rican from both sides.
Yeah, no, both of them are. So yeah, but yeah, he definitely that side. We're more mountain people. So like that shit was like always like there. It's just that they didn't really want to like tell me anything until I was older, which I like can respect, but yeah. I'm also like I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that to my you know, future, you know, kitties and nieces and nephews, you know. But
because if they have curiosity, it's normally for a reason.
Yeah,
and at such a young age, if you're like channeling questions like that, like
I already was.
You're so connected to spirit already. I mean, from ages, you know, newborn to 7, like you're the most connected to the spiritual realm. So
yeah, and I just remember like I would go into trances a lot when I was like a kid, and like just be like, I feel like something's in here. Like I had always like felt like that way. So me in the spirit worlds, I've always recognized her, but we're definitely in harmony now. I feel. Before I looked at it as like a faraway thing, but she's welcoming me. She's been welcoming me, but
oh yeah, I think even more. Like I think she even wants you to integrate it more, like awaken. You know, I feel like a part of me feels like when I was channeling the idea for this podcast and the people I would be bringing on, I feel like it kind of overlaps, like intercepts with kind of like my purpose outside of my creativity, which I guess it's not really outside, but I feel like a large message that I have like on this earth is to be yourself, and also to like integrate your spirit into everything that you do. And I definitely feel like everybody who comes on has like their own journey that they're going on, that they're doing that and learning how to do that. And so if at this point we are connecting, then it's probably because you're meant to just like explore that even deeper. Like how can I more integrate this? Like how can I embody this more in everything that I do, instead of them having to be like two separate paths that walk simultaneously? They could be one path that exists together in harmony. So I mean, yeah. So did something particular like awaken it? Like actually, like did you have like a spiritual awakening? Like for me, I was always kind of like spiritual growing up, and always had that curiosity and like things around me influenced, because my family wasn't necessarily religious. Like my grandparents and stuff like that, they're Catholic, but like my parents were not religious. And so my mom explored a lot of different religions and ideologies and belief systems growing up. She never really stuck to anything, but I was very interested in all of them, and I was like curious about like the laws of the universe and like all that stuff, but it didn't really like stick to my brain. I just learned about those things, and then coming full circle now, doing a lot of inner child healing, I'm just like, oh, I remember learning about that. But I know that when I was 18, like going on 19, like right before my 19th birthday, I took acid for the first time. And I did it that didn't.
Ooh, that awakened you.
Like took me just on a whole different trajectory where like I always believed in like the law of karma and like manifestation, but I wouldn't actively do it, or I didn't think that I was actively doing it, and I would practice things and putting things into belief and prayer and manifestation and law of attraction, all those things, not really knowing what the word for it was, and I would believe in like higher powers, and I feel like I always was more like agnostic growing up, and I was more into like witchy stuff and things like that were like interesting to me, but I never really explored it because I didn't think that was a thing until I was like 16, 17. And then I was like, oh, well, like, I thought you had to be introduced to it. Like, I didn't think it was something I could just, like, learn about. But, yeah, when I did acid, I just, like, I learned how to read auras. Like, I just awakened to, like, gifts that I didn't realize were psychic gifts at the time. And so I was, like, a lot older. And like, people were like, yeah, that's not a regular people thing that people could do. I was like, oh, okay. That's my third eye awakening. Like, I understood it retroactively, but so was there anything like that for you? Like, just any particular moment or experience in your life where like you felt your path shift from like one way, from like, oh, I know that these things exist and I'm like aware of them, to like, oh, I am like awakened to it?
Yeah, I feel like there was two instances. I feel like when I was 16 or 17, like I said, like my abuela and my titi, like they told me about our Taino ancestors, and like my abuela told me, she was like, you have a Taino soul, like very lively, like
I see the
grounded.
Is that
yeah.
a cookie?
Yeah. I have a cookie tattooed on me. Yeah, she's always told me, like, you have a Taino soul, like I feel like you're like from our bloodline, like you're able to like live your truth now. And like that always kind of stuck with me, and like that was like 16 or 17. So, you know, like for me personally at that age, I was going through a lot. I was like super depressed and like going through like my first breakup, shit like that, and like figuring shit out. So like I feel like I kind of like just put it to like the back of my mind. But then when I was around like 18 or 19, when I moved to New York actually for school, I was in the dorm, and like I had my ex-boyfriend at the time. Like we always used to hang out because we went to the same school, and like I started to get super bad anxiety like smoking weed, and it's because I was like awakening.
Oh my god, that happened when I awakened too.
Yeah, I was awakening to like just spirit all around me, and like I didn't have the tools to like know how to manage how like intense it was. So I actually like went to therapy that summer because I thought I was like losing my mind.
That's what happened to me too, and I started going to therapy that summer too.
I literally,
and that's when I started like learning about crystals and like and, like, actually started following it and like saging, and that's so wild.
And honestly, like like when I went to therapy, like she did help me like see through like my traumas, and like she actually like made me like I don't know, it's
more like a logical perspective.
The word is leaving me, but like she just made me feel like it was okay that I went through so much at like a young age, and that like now like I'm just going through a spiritual awakening. Like that's what she told me.
Wow, really?
So like
that's
she
amazing.
Told me that that's what was happening. So after that summer of therapy, like I just started to use more tools. I just started to learn more and like really realize like, oh, I'm a bruja, like full force. Like I thought it was just like my dad's side of the family, like, but just more and more that I was learning, it just kept coming through. So yeah,
that's incredible. Thank you for sharing that. That's like actually really amazing to hear that you had kind of like a mentor in a way, like an older person that just validated you and was like, this is the words that you're looking for what you're feeling.
That's exactly what I was trying to say, was that she just like gave me like the agency and like the words to be like, it's okay that you went through all this stuff, and like it's honestly just creating like more spiritual pathways because you sound like a spiritual person. And I was like, really?
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I feel like literally the opposite happened to me. Like I went into therapy and it like stunted it down. Like it literally was like, like very logical based perspectives and things like that. Like, I guess more grounded, and I inherently, I feel like I'm a little bit more of an intellectual person at first. Like, I have a tendency to intellectualize my emotions before I feel them. So I think it definitely helped having, like, a grasp and understanding of what was going on. And so I felt validated in that sense of, like, oh, okay, like, I'm not crazy. There's just, like, stuff going on in my brain because of the things I've experienced and I'm experiencing. But I don't have to be, like, tethered to this. I don't have to be stuck, like, in this rut, I guess. Like, I could come out of it. I could heal and be better. But speaking of healing, what made you become more of like a healer, like a healing energy, and wanting to bring that light into the world aside from just experiencing it or learning about it? And do you consider yourself a healer, or would you label yourself something else?
Okay. I feel like I have always been a healer, but realizing it was interesting. Like, you know, like we were saying, like, or like I said, like, I feel like I have just like this inner child joy and this happiness that, like, never burned out.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of people, like, they have to do a lot of, like, healing and, like, you know, reflection to, like, even dig up that, like, inner child. And, like, trust me, I have done it. But, like, I just feel like, for me, like, I feel like realizing that you have a child in you, like, changes the world.
Yeah.
And, like, you change the frequency of the world. So I just, like, always felt like I had this, like, joy and, like, this happiness that, like, no matter what I was going through, like, I would always, like, have a smile on my face. And, like, not that that is, like, you know, you should always be like that. Of course, I, like, have my really down days, and, like, I've been through depressive episodes in my life, but, like, just how I've always shown up for, like, myself and others has always been, like, centering, like, happiness. And, like, sometimes I forget that, but that's, like, one of my gifts. But, like, I feel like it's a true gift, and, like, it's been able to heal, like, so many people that I've come into contact with, and, like, just by even, like, brightening their day is, like, being a healer.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm over here, like, clearing out energy. Every time you start talking about things like that, like, from a little bit of, like, a deeper perspective, I literally start burping. Like, I feel the energy clearing out.
I was like, is she throwing up?
No, I'm good. But I feel like you needed to say that. Like, I feel like you even needed to recognize that about yourself.
I did need to say it. Like, really, when I said it, that I, like, carry this happiness that is healing, like, I really do recognize it. And, like, I'm always, like, when I do go through, like, depressive episodes, I'm like, but I'm, like, the happy person that's supposed to, like, bring everybody else up. But, like, I also, like, to be a healer, you also need to, like, go through episodes of, like, being internal, being, like, you know, showing up for yourself, not being happy all the time is okay. And, like, like, that's something that I've really, like, been allowing myself to do in the past years, like, working on myself so I can show up as, like, the happy healer and, like
authentically.
Exactly.
Without it having to be, like, your identity, but it's just who you are.
Yeah, no, it really just is who I am. Like, I'm like, I'm never, like, people will literally tell me, like, are you always this happy? Or they'll literally be like, are you always laughing like this?
Like, yeah, bitch, and what about it?
No, literally.
What's not to laugh about?
Like, I've gotten it since I was a child. Like, and
no,
it's
like,
just really interesting, and that's how you know, like, it's a gift, or one of my gifts.
You do have a lot of Aries energy, and, like, Aries be so funny. Like, I don't know, they be cracking me up. And you're my sister sign, but like, literally earlier I genuinely laughed, like, a deep, like, throaty laugh. Like, I rarely ever actually get to laugh like that, but lately, like, certain things have been making me laugh like that. We were trying to, like, find each other and catch up with each other so much, it was literally like cat and mouse. She was like, we're like Tom and Jerry over here. We end up divinely aligning, ending up at the same place at the same time finally, after, like, traffic and all these different route changes, which ended up also being divinely guided. But then we're literally both at Whole Foods. She's in the bathroom. I have to go use the bathroom. I go inside. She comes up when I go inside. She's looking for me. She comes out of the different entrance that I'm at. Like, we're literally going around, and I was cracking up. I literally couldn't stop laughing.
Was so funny.
And I was like, oh my God, I hope she's not getting, like, frustrated with me. And then you came in cracking up too, because I was, like, laughing too. And it was so funny.
Laughing.
It was literally so funny.
Yeah, I'd say that's a very Aries energy. Just comedy. It's comedy hour every hour. Like, but yeah, I'd say that's one of my healing powers. As I've grown older, I'm realizing, you know, I have a bit of psychic in me. I also receive things from my dreams, which are really helpful. I get premonitions a lot, but it's definitely like with seasons, you know, my gifts change, but I'd say my main gift is like inner child joy that I try to like reflect out of people.
I think you're genuinely actually very psychic, and I think that like you forget that because maybe you've like identified a little bit more with being like that happier healer or like that joy in the world. But I think even in the moments like with the moon, right? And the moon is inherently feminine, and like being psychic or spiritually in tune, it is inherently feminine, like a feminine energy. And so like the moon goes through phases where sometimes it is dark, like we're coming up on the new moon, it's going to be slower, but it's also, new moons are inherently more psychic and inherently more intuitive, especially this Pisces moon, this Pisces new moon, because Pisces are inherently more intuitive, and even Cancer that's ruled by the moon, it's also another water sign, very intuitive, very psychic, very energetically aligned and in tune. And I feel like sometimes you like forget about that side of yourself, that like sometimes even in those slower moments where you don't have to be the happy healer, you can actually just, you don't have to be healing anything, you could just be psychic, you could just be spiritual, you don't have to be doing anything for anyone else, you can just heal by existing as your natural self, because you are more than what you identify with or than what other people identify with you. And I feel like maybe I've heard this before from other Aries that I've met. Sometimes I think an Aries trait is like how they're perceived by others, because your energy is so much more like out there, and you're the baby of the zodiac, you're the first sign of the zodiac, so you're gonna be more impressionable sometimes. And like I think also that's like a beautiful balance to being in Aries, is that like before they can be influenced, they will influence, like they will just go for things. But in those moments where you have to slow down, it can get a little scary, because it's like you can be a little bit more impressionable, but I feel like your gifts are so strong, and you have such a strong discernment and like psychic healing energy for yourself. Like just like you are more than just a healer, you are healing. Like you are healing yourself, you are healing just by existing and being naturally, being able to live out your gifts. And I feel like that's also part of your purpose too. If you want to look at your connection with your ancestors, those are things that they had that they couldn't talk about out loud and they couldn't embody. And like, look at how the rain is pouring over us, just cleansing us and healing us right now. Just being, you know, those moments where we get to slow down, they are the most powerful, they are the most connected and the most in tune, and that is like more of your femininity. And I feel like that's a little bit more of your Taurus side, like we were talking about, because you are a cusp. Yes,
I'm a cusp baby. 420. Ladies, it's coming up. I'm gonna be 25.
Period.
Yeah.
Quarter of a century.
No, I know. I'm like, damn, I'm middle aged.
That's gonna be a big one for you. Girl, what? You get middle aged. Which middle?
I know, it's just getting started. And you know,
it's really just getting started.
We're Latina over here. Yeah.
Your frontal lobe is developing, girl. It's really just getting started.
And I was gonna say, we're Latinas, so we don't age, so it's fine.
We really don't.
We only get sexier as we age, to be honest. So just
like,
get ready.
I don't know why when you said that, I just thought Salma Hayek, period.
Yes, hot bitch.
But yeah, I feel like you are inherently very psychic, and that is like maybe like what we were talking about, like integrating that more into your journey. I feel like that might be what's meant for you to do. Like that might be how you integrate it better into your journey. Yeah. By like tuning into your psychic gifts. Like first of all, like offer it. I feel like you have like clairsentience, which is feelings, but I feel like they occur to you in different ways. Like I think smell, for some reason, is really connecting with you or connects with you. Like that's coming up for me when I'm reading your energy. Like I feel like scent and scent, like breathing and like air, like just like that life force energy. I feel like that's a big thing. And your throat chakra. So like I feel like you're a channeler, and I feel like if you were just to sit and write, like free write, you would get so many messages.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you feel divinely guided to say certain things or speak to certain people, it's like for a reason, and you gotta go for that. Like you gotta trust that. But like a way that you can embody that a little bit more from like a feminine sense is like if you ever feel like, oh, I don't know where this is coming from, just being able to sit with it and like allow the information to collect and then project it out, then like use that energy instead of just like speaking before you go. Because even like I was saying when we were getting prepared for the podcast, like I really love to tune into that preparation stage because it helps me get in tune with my feminine energy. So I'm just like collecting all that energy, I'm sitting with it, I'm preparing it, I'm getting ready, so when I act I could just go for it. And I feel like you have so much more of like a go-getter energy, and so much you're able to just act. But sometimes with things like that are so big, like such powerful gifts, you need to be able to sit with them first, and you might feel more confident in your gifts and more secure in them if you have those moments of like slowing down and tuning in and reconnection and reconnecting, especially like with the new moons. Like that was probably a very powerful time for you. And I feel like you were probably born under like a new moon. Like I don't know why I'm getting that, like I feel like the moon that you were born under is probably really significant. So we could look it up after this if you want.
Yeah, but I also feel like I come from a family of glamour magic. Ooh. Yeah, my Puerto Rican, well, both my grandmothers Puerto Rican, but my Puerto Rican grandma on my mom's side, she did nails, and my Italian grandfather, he was a hairstylist, and they made clothes. All my Puerto Rican family makes clothes on both sides. So, like, that really just, like, led into, like, my love for beauty and my love for fashion and, like, why I do fashion styling now and, like, how I incorporate, like, sustainability and, like, handmade things because that's, like, what my ancestors did. They made clothes from nothing. So I, like, still incorporate that into, like, my life and, like, I love makeup and I love hair and like I just know that's, you know, from the glamour magic in my family. And yeah, I truthfully believe my gifts, they like fluctuate in seasons and like based off of like what, you know, is happening in my life. And like I shared with you when we like were talking about the podcast and like just in general when we were catching up, like that, like I kind of wish it wasn't seasonal sometimes. Like that like all my gifts weren't seasonal, but like at the same time, like it always makes sense. Like the ones that come that are more strong. Like sometimes I'm really clairaudient. Like I'll like be going to sleep and like I'll just like hear like conversations and like people talking and like I'll like translate it, or like I'll go through stages of like astral projection. There was a season where like I was astral projecting a lot, and it was actually like while my my abuelo, my dad's father, my Cuban grandfather, when he was, you know, transitioning. So I felt like he was saying goodbye to me, to like in his earth, you know, way, like saying goodbye to me, to his body in that way. But he's definitely one of my guides, and you know
oh my god, he's literally like here right now as you're talking about
no him. I know, bestie. I like in like the spiritual realm, he's like right there, like right beyond the veil, just like looking at you as you talk about him. He's like, oh, I heard you. I know. Like, oh, she's talking about me, she's gonna... Oh my god, it reminds me of like grandparents or something, like being like older grandparents or like Latino like immigrant grandparents, just like sitting in the living room like watching TV, and like their grandkids about to be on the TV, and it's like, oh, this is her part coming up. Like I felt like he was just waiting for that one. No, like, I know. He was a Leo, boo. You know, he's like, yes, talk about me.
Yeah, talk about it. But my next question is, how do you feel like being a healer has inspired you or changed you or your life from like what you once thought it could be or was?
Okay. What came to me first was like, I want to heal the wild woman that deserves to be in my family. And I feel like I am the wild woman.
Like that video that you posted on your story a few weeks back that I was like, wow, you are literally her reincarnated.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. So I see that in you so much. Like when you're talking, I feel like Because
that's my Cuban side.
I believe in reincarnation, but because energy cannot be destroyed or created, I believe that when we reincarnate, we can reincarnate as like more than one energy. You know, like we can, like what makes up our spirit are like, you know, bits and pieces of like the other spirits that existed before us, whether it was us in past lifetimes or the people in our lineage. And especially like us being Latino, we are already mixed with so much, and especially like Caribbean Latino, but then being like Italian and just like, so, you know, I feel like you definitely have like a lot of different energies. And when you're speaking about how your family were telling you about you being like Taino reborn, you know, just like you being able to live out that freedom, I definitely saw like a more grounded, like earthy, like just bare, like natural, which by the way, maybe there are some days where you can connect with yourself and just be like all natural, because I know you're speaking about that earlier, like you've been getting like sensory overload from makeup, and I feel like there's that side of you that's calling you to just be more like, who am I without all of this? And then so that when you connect with these moments where you're like that other version of you that's embodied, like your other ancestor that you're embodying, and especially like the people that came before you who were super into glamour magic, like it's just so much more channeled and powerful, like, oh, I know exactly how I want this to be or look or be expressed.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like there's been so many women before me that have been trailblazers, but I just feel like in the past couple generations, like the women in my family have risked so much and never like put themselves first.
Yeah.
And they also got married super young. Like my mom was with my dad since she was 18, so like they're not together anymore, but you know, like she just never, like at that young age, she didn't experience anybody else or exactly
else.
And like my grandma got married, her mom got married at 19.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, you know, even like my dad's side, like my abuelo got married like in their mid-20s, but you know, now we're in our mid-20s,
it's
and
like,
I'm
I feel like a baby, like,
I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, but to back then, like that was older, you know, which is kind of crazy for Latinos to be getting married that old, quote unquote. But like, anyway, so
they
like
normally already had like kids and everything by that age.
Yeah, so I feel like something that like my healing powers have kind of like always told me was like, and what I channel a lot like in my meditations is like, be what we couldn't be. That's what I hear a lot.
Wow. I just felt like a giant block in my throat like when you said that.
Yeah, it's because I just feel like there's been like, I'm obviously all these like powerful women, and you know, like that were in my family, and like I have just like, you know, dancing ancestors, I have beautiful ancestors, like gorgeous, like natural, like mountain lady, you know, ancestors, and like also just like, you know, there's also like bad ancestors that I have. You know, we all have them, but like but like I feel like the ones that I channel and that I work with are very just goddesses, and like I just always want to be that. So I feel like my healing and like my inner child joy and just like my sensuality, my sexuality has been like healing the wild woman that like deserves to still live in my family. And I just free. Yeah, and I feel like I am her. So yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Well, I feel like you answered this, but I was going to say, how do you feel like you actively pursue or embody or live out your higher purpose in this life?
Oh my god, wasn't I talking about my highest self earlier?
Yeah, you were.
Ooh, okay, wait, repeat that one more time, because I really just need to like...
How do you feel like you actively pursue or embody and live out your higher purpose in this life? Like your own higher purpose. Because I do feel like we are our ancestors' wildest dreams, and part of, you know, being who they couldn't be is that they got to be themselves. And at the end of the day, like, we are an accumulation of all of them, but that makes us the most unique because we are ourselves. At the end of the day, we bring our own essence and spirit that when we become ancestors, that's gonna get passed down to our like descendants and everything. So like, uniquely you, who is that? How do you feel like you embody that, or you're starting to... I know you said earlier you feel like you're starting to look like your higher self.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, I shared earlier that I feel like I'm starting to look like what I used to meditate about like
awesome.
how I used to like meditate about my appearance, because you know, I feel like a lot of times when you're like, if you're doing like a guided higher self meditation, I feel like they always like say like, imagine what you look like what would your hair look like, what would your skin look like, and you could be any age, but like I don't know, I just kind of like, I'm in my growing my hair out phase, like I want it to be super long, like that's how I always like envision my higher self. Like I'm getting more tattoos, I imagine that, and then like I have a drawing somewhere on like loose leaf paper of like a time that I drew myself out, but I'm thinking about it now and it literally looks like me now, and I've really been feeling that, like, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago that I drew it, so like I really do feel like I'm just in an era right now, and I was sharing earlier that like where, you know, I just want love around me, and I feel like love is the highest frequency, and like when you are tuned into love, like your whole appearance changes. And like when you are committed to love and like, you know, expediting fear and expelling fear like as much as you can, like your appearance and like everything inside of you starts to change. And like I just feel like I've been really embodying like what I've been saying I wanted to do, but I'm actually like doing the action now.
Yeah, like there's so many steps. Like I was kind of talking about this earlier when we were having that conversation, but it's like, you know, you start realizing that you gotta do those changes, and then you start understanding what that feels like or looks like, and then it's like, oh, now I actually gotta do it. Like like the preparation period is over. It's time.
Yeah.
Lights, camera, action. Like literally.
and you know what's crazy is that I finished a journal that I had over like a 4-year period of time.
Wow, that's a long time to have a journal.
Yeah, which is because I would only journal in it for the new moon and the full moon.
Oh wow,
that's kind of how I journal. Yeah, that's kind of
really cool.
Yeah, because like I
want to try that.
Yeah, I'm not like super like journal I don't journal every day, but I journal often. So yeah, I recently just finished it, and when I first started the journal, I said in the journal like I want to like embody my highest self in this and like come out. And like when I finished the journal, it was at the end of December when I decided to move back to Jersey. So like I kind of like felt like a chapter just like closed, and now I'm like actually experiencing the self that I want to be. And like my career is changing, my love life is changing, my community is changing, and it's all for the best. Like discernment at the forefront, and lover is tatted on my ass, so so now you know the tea.
That's the scoop. Okay, that's the end. No, I'm kidding. But like we really like that's all you need to know. She has lover tatted on her ass now, so, and she's walking in her divinity and purpose. So fuck around and find out. If you wanted to know anything, that's what we should have started with.
Maybe that could be like the teaser.
Yeah.
for the podcast.
It's so funny. Oh, like part of me wishes that we did like a visual podcast. Because that would have been so funny.
I know. I guess I would look right at the camera. I'd be like,
yeah, I'll be like, so what do you think your purpose? Even though it's so crazy because I've been doing YouTube for like years, so it's like I don't know why that freaks me out.
No,
but
today
it freaks me out every time. I really don't know what it was. It's new moon energy, but maybe by the next time you're on this podcast, by the next time you want to be on it, if you want to be on it again,
I would love to. No, we could totally do a video.
Yeah, we'll do like a video.
Yeah, it'd be so funny.
Oh, okay.
Is it last question?
I think so. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. So, is there anything you'd like to do that is like within your control right now? Which I feel like anything you want to do like is within your control, you know, but sometimes the biggest ships take time to come in. So, is there anything that you'd like to do right now that you're not doing? If you feel comfortable sharing, please do. Okay. And how can you get there from where you're at right now?
Oh my god, I literally had a journal prompt today that said that, and I skipped over it.
Oh, that's so
I'll literally show you after.
That's
I'll
actually so
literally
funny.
show you.
Because I put this down as like a bonus question. Like, if we get to it, then I would love to ask this. Because it's like, I really just felt called to ask you that one. And we got to it.
And here we are. I'm like,
Spirit was like, you're not running today.
I know, no, she really, because I've been like running from that journal prompt.
Oop.
I don't know why.
That happens to me, and then I end up going through like life experiences where like
Where
I'm sitting
you have
there,
to.
like meditating or like journaling on it, like just by myself, and then I'm like, wow, actually there was definitely a moment where I needed to ask myself this. So
okay.
So yeah, is there anything you'd like to be doing? Yes, there is. You're thinking about it right now. It's like
I am.
Like for
That's
me,
why I'm reading it. I'm like,
For me, for me, one of them was this podcast, and so I had to do it. I mean, this podcast has been in the works for like maybe 3 years, but it's had to go through a lot.
Oh wow!
It's been started. Like yeah.
You started it, and then you backtracked.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then I got scared. Not even like it's like I feel like sometimes I have less fear around being seen. A big fear that I had to work through was about being heard and believed and understood, like in that, like the things that come from that. But it's like that affected a lot of my expression. So things like podcasting, like I was like, I realized I love to talk, so I wanted to start a podcast, but I definitely wanted to like run before I could walk, so I kept like trying to go for it, and I was like, fuck it, because from a fear-based place, I was like, if I don't start this right now when I'm inspired, I'm not gonna do it. And then I would do it, and then I would get discouraged because I wasn't ready, or like it just wasn't the right time yet. But I had to see that I could do it. So I feel like it all happened like how it needed to. But I kept like restarting it, and then like stepping back, or I'd record something and then I wouldn't post it, and like things like that. And so yeah, I feel like I had kind of just let it go, and I was like, okay, like it's gonna happen when it's meant to happen. Like it'll happen when I'm ready and when I know exactly what I want to talk about. I feel like right now is the season for me to just prepare myself energetically, my life, my mind, everything. And then yeah, so when I felt guided to start this, I was like, really? Like now? Like y'all want me to do this now? And they were like, get it. I was like, okay. Like I was just in like such a like not phase, but like chapter and transition of my life that I feel like I'm moving out of the transition and I'm like in the beginning now. Like the beginning of this new book, this new like era. And at that time it was like mid transition, like really deep in it. And so I was like, I know that if I don't keep going off this momentum, I will stop. So like they were like, you got to start. I was like, okay. And I texted you that day, and then like everything just aligned perfectly. Is there anything like that for you? Like either it's been in the works for a while, or it's kind of something that was just like in the back of your mind, but every time it comes up you're like, nah, like when the time is right, knowing full well that like you could do it if you would just do it, but you get scared. No more fear, right? No more fear. No more fear. So you gotta face it.
I think I have a couple film stuff that I think I want to do, like some like, okay, I don't want to say like acting, but like
you would be
like
so
personally
good at
for me, like I think I want to like script things that like I can act in, and like work with my like film peers, and like really just bring ideas to life. One of them being like super ancestral that I'll share with you after the podcast, because I'm not ready to talk about it yet. But
if
like,
you remind me, I have like a TikToker saved that she kind of does something similar. Like she writes her own scripts. They're more like visual, and I don't know if you'd want to like actually act and speak in them, but it kind of reminds me of that style where it's like sometimes we just need to see like what's the word, like representation that it's possible to like do those things, and then you're like, oh, it's actually that easy, I could just do it. You could literally go home today and write a script for yourself that's like 3 pages and just make yourself a short film.
No, that's
tape your freaking phone to the ceiling, and like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly, I think I want to get into like short films. And like I was talking to this guy the other day, and he was and he was like, I feel like that's a creative's like last stop on their journey is like directing and like scripting.
I actually really see that, and I love that. Like I would one day love to do film. Like I also am very passionate about that from like a different perspective. Like I would love to act, but I think I would more so love to like produce and like learn like camera work and film work and videography and things like that. And like I would write like screenplays. Like when I was younger, I was in like a performing arts company in my high school, and so we would have to like dabble in every single type of creativity, like creative genre. And so one was like filmmaking and screenplays, so we had to write screenplays, and then we had to literally film short films and then edit it. And the group that I had just like did not take it seriously, so I basically did the entire project myself, and my teacher like realized that, and then he was like, you're really good at this, like you should do that. And I was like, wait, this is actually really easy to do. Like, my point is that like you can go for it. And to be honest, with like the platforms that we have today and like the access that we have to so many tools for free, or even just like really affordable, or if you want to invest in it, just get something like really good going, like you could so do it, and you would be so good at that. I feel like that Taurus energy that you have right there, that would embody it. I don't know why I feel like Tauruses are great actors. Like I don't even know of any Taurus actors off the top of my head, but I just feel like they would be like, I feel like you could really channel that energy, like
get ready to go, be dramatic. But I definitely have like 2 ideas for some short films that like I've only been thinking about. I haven't written it down yet because I'm like, I know it's gonna be powerful, but like, why am I not writing it down if I know it's gonna be powerful?
And like I just told you earlier, free writing, channeling. Hello. Sometimes your psychic gifts work through your creativity. Actually, most times your psychic gifts work through your creativity, and I feel like that's one that's like, you will probably channel the most amazing thing, and you don't even know where that's going to take you, because that might just start you on this amazing journey that you are looking to be on right now.
Like I honestly don't know if I can like act like if someone else was directing it, but you also never know. Like maybe I just need to take this step of like doing my own thing first, and then like seeing if I could do it for other people.
I feel like you'd be good at improv, and like that's a good way to kind of, because you're literally letting the director lead. Like they're literally just like, you're in a car and your mom's a llama or something, and you're just like, what the fuck, like what, you know, like, and then it really breaks that ice. I feel like even like being so close to New York, I know now you're not living in New York anymore, but you're here so frequently, you can do like improv classes. Like you know, like Friends. Have you ever seen Friends? Like it reminds me of like Joey, how he would just do improv classes. Like
I didn't know that. No, have you seen Broad City?
I've seen like a few episodes.
People tell me like I act like the curly hair girl. I forgot her name,
but
really she's funny. Like nuts.
I could see that. That's really funny.
But I don't know. I have to show you clips after.
I've only seen like 2 episodes maybe when I was like 17.
But I'm pretty sure she improvs like her whole like comedic.
Wait, really? I love shows like that. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, kind of like Eric Andre energy. But...
Yeah, I used to like that show. Like now I don't know if my humor is the same.
I know. I'm like, I don't really have his...
has been coming up for me lately though. I thought about it the other day and I was like, maybe I should rewatch that. So
yeah, I also like, I'm getting really good at salsa dancing. Like I want to like, I want to do like more dance videos too. I feel like the last time I posted a dance video I was probably like 16 or 17.
Really? You used to post dance videos?
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like 17 has been coming up so much lately today. And like,
we're healing her.
That is the healing card, the star card in tarot. And like I've been seeing the number 17 all day and like for the past few weeks. So
yeah, I would love to like, you know, like I feel like it's a lot to like, you want to really like master your move and your skill, and then you can record.
Yeah, I get it. And just be like comfortable in your flow. Exactly. So like when the cameras come on, you're not like, I need to remember the steps, because that's like with me, like I used to do cheer, we would have to do like dance portions for like the competitions and shit like that, and then it's like I would have so much fun practicing, but then the minute you have to perform it and I know people are watching, I'm I'm literally just remembering the steps like a robot, like I'm literally just like like that would be so hard.
Choreography's hard, but like I just have so much fun when I salsa dance. It's very ancestral and like beautiful to me, so
I want to take dance classes so bad now. You like reminded me of that.
Yeah, so those are things that I haven't done yet, but I will be doing.
As you should. And I want to hear about it. Maybe you could start writing about it during this new moon. Wink, wink.
That's so true.
Just saying. Just see what comes out. You don't have to... A big thing that I told for like one of my clients, because they do like a spiritual mentorship program that I'm starting out, and so he's like in the program with me, and one of the big things that I told him is like, this week is all about letting your perspective change and shift and letting things flow, letting things just go. Like you could you like do not like, the energy of the week was the Judgment card in reverse. Do not be so dead set on, like, things have to be this way or that way. Like, allow them to change. Allow your mind to change about how you've always thought about things, or even how you're just thinking about things right now. Like, maybe today you think, you know, I really got to start eating more apples. And then tomorrow you're like, wait, it's not apples that I need to eat. I need to start taking more vitamin A. Like, you know, and so, like, allow your mind to change, you know. You could write down things right now just to get the idea out and flowing and get, like, your internal voice going. And then you can always go back and change it and allow things to, like, change over time. As you experience new things, you run into new people. And especially during this manifestation energy with the new moon, like, and this, like, vibrant energy and powerful energy that you're in right now, like, you could create those experiences. They could open up for you. It's literally like scripting, like manifestation scripting. You're literally, like, scripting the things that you want to do, or literally writing a script. So once you put it out there, you're kind of just allowing the ships to come in, the channels to open for you to bring that into existence.
That's exciting. Yeah, I'm gonna get to it, y'all. Stay tuned.
Every time you clear something, I just start burping. It's really crazy.
I love that.
It's really crazy.
What if I just start farting?
Like, I tell you, like, a major, like, emotional event, and you're just like...
I love that.
But yeah, so are there any projects that you want to shout out, or, like, portfolios or pages or things that you work on, your social media accounts, your content creation that you want to shout out and just give a platform to for a new audience, a new collective of people?
Okay, so I'm EarthAngelEmmy on TikTok. I'm EarthAngelEmmy on Instagram. I just styled a music video, so I'm super excited about that. The artist's name is Buddha May.
Okay.
And she's super beautiful, super radiant. We did multiple different looks, so be on the lookout for that on my pages.
I'll definitely be reposting.
I'm also doing a live styling event in Newark, New Jersey, which is going to be interesting. I've never, like, done styling events in general. Like? So basically, it's going to be a bunch of stylists and a bunch of models, and we're going to be, like, live styling, like, putting accessories, like, on these models. While people
really cool.
watch, and there's going to be, like, vendors and, like, music
it
and
feels like a live
food
action,
and
like,
stuff.
art exhibit.
Exactly. So I'm super excited for that. That's next weekend. So everything will be on my page. I haven't posted about that yet. I'm a little nervous.
Wait till the 11th.
Ooh.
And then
yeah, because it's on the 16th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Like, that's gonna be, like, a good manifestation day, and we're coming right out of the new moon and everything.
Yeah.
So, like, energy's gonna be picking up.
Yeah,
again.
I was gonna wait till next week to do it. But yeah, so those are things that I have going on. Yeah, just keep up to date with me on there and see what's going on with my inner child happiness, okay? Because it's in all my projects, and, like, my fashion is very, very, very ancestrally, like, guided, you know? Like, I wear cats a lot. Cats remind me of my abuelo, who was here with us during this conversation, Leo ass.
Him tuning back in, he's like, oh,
I know, he's like, butterflies are also from my grandmother's side.
Yeah, I was gonna say that feels like more like a motherly energy.
Yeah. So you will see sprinkles of that in my fashion, and, you know, crystals and stuff like that. And like I said, handmade and sustainable, boo. And yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here and sharing so much and being vulnerable just being so open and bringing us on your journey. And I'm so excited to see where you go, and, you know, where your content and your creativity and everything that you bring into the world ends up, and how your journey goes. Because I feel like you're on the beginning of just a really beautiful, enlightening path, and you got a long ways to go on it, and this is just the beginning. And I'm excited to see where you end up, and the next time that you're on here, like, where you're at, and, like, looking back at this episode and being like, wow, look at all you've accomplished and all that's come into fruition.
And the day that we had today
literally was such an insane and crazy day.
Thank you, Cosmic Angel.
Thank
777. Follow it.
Yes, you can find me on TikTok on my tarot account, which is cosmic.angel777. It's okay. You could also follow this podcast on TikTok. I started a new TikTok page for the collective, and I'll be posting lots of content from our podcast and the people who come on there, and I'll also be sharing healing knowledge, and it's really just meant to be a safe space to bring together the collective of creative healers and people who resonate with these messages and are following a similar path so that we can all learn, grow, and connect with each other and support and love one another. So make sure to follow us on there at Cosmic Healer Hub on TikTok. And if you'd like to check out my Instagram page, it is also Cosmic Angel 777, but without a dot in the middle. And you can check me out on YouTube too, which is also Cosmic Angel 777. Yes, so thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, who has tuned in. And if you were here, I'm wishing you so much unconditional love and light on your journey. And may you continue to be divinely guided and protected and uplifted in everything that you do. And bring that love into the world as you do with your gifts and creativity. And may you continue tuning into yourself and tuning into the episodes every other week.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emily, for being here. This is a beautiful episode, and I'm so grateful to share this with you and to have the first episode be with you. Such a great way to start and so fitting to your Aries energy.
Yeah.
In gratitude to the Most High, to Yamaya, to Oshun for being here with us today.
Yes.
Thank you to the Most High, to Mother Earth, to the universe, and thank you to my spirit guides, angels, and ancestors who walk with me and strengthen my faith every day and protect me and guide me in everything that I do. I love you guys so much, and just wanted to give you guys a major shout out. And thank you to y'all, spirit teams, because they guided you here today too.
They got us here.
Period. So signing off. Okay, bye y'all.